So welcome back to HudRod Automotive and another video on the 330D. So I'm just about to head off on a big road trip with the 330D, so it needs a little bit of loving. You should have already seen I fixed the issue with the suspension and brakes now. So I'm going to do a quick service, get that sun out here. I'm going to do a service and the crankcase ventilation and the fuel filter as well, which is kind of a service item, just to prepare me for that road trip.
Hey, I got something to say.
But most annoying thing about the diesel BMs of this kind of era is this air filter housing, which we're going to go through now. Just putting it back, it's always so difficult. But the good news is the EGR, or I mean, I know it's just on the outside, but it doesn't seem to be leaking anywhere or sooty or anything like that, which they usually are. Everything here is actually looking really clean, which is great news. The PCV is this one here. Or crankcase ventilation is this one here. So the air filter and everything's coming off anyway, but this pollen filter up here has to come off, which is kind of standard procedure when you're working on these E46s anyway. Quite a busy area on top of the engine, but once you take this apart, once you take this off, you've got loads and loads of space to work with. So you just twist these off, and here's where we'll find out if I need a pollen filter. I guess probably should have got one, but you know, there we go. It's often left out, the pollen filter. Me being a case in point. Yes, definitely need one of those. God damn. 4 Torx keys down the back there, and that will get that right out.
I know it's tough and I know there's pain, but hitting bottom is the only way to change. So I'll keep hustling, you keep struggling, bitch, I'm humbling. Keep mumbling, I'll keep doubling, you keep bluffing, you've got nothing, I'll keep hustling.
So this is my least favorite thing about diesel BMWs, is changing the air filter, because this bolt here, it just never ever seems to want to go back in, and because you always have something like this which is too big to fit in straight anyway, so it's always going in that piss. Oh, so frustrating. So anyway, this still all needs to come off, and then this is now loose, but I can't quite get it out yet, so we're going to carry on taking off the air filter housing.
I've seen a lot of people who don't know what work is. I've seen a lot of people who don't know what thirst is. I've had a taste of evil and tried to cure the sickness, but I just keep my head down and focus on the facts. I'm setting down gravel while you just follow the path.
Now, if you've ever wondered why your BMW is so expensive to service, in this point a air filter, I'm going to show you now. Now, you must have seen in that time lapse that took way longer than it should have, and it's even worse when it's in a 3 Series. So let me show you why. So the air filter I've just taken out, as you saw, is there. Okay, there it is, this thing here, massive, great. To get to that, I obviously had to take this off. To get this off, I had to take that off, because I couldn't quite get it out without breaking it. But to get that bit off here, I had to get this bit off, which is here. So now that whole back bit is going to be so difficult to put back in, one, and obviously everything else has to go back there first. This brake booster line is in the way. We've had to take the pollen filter and the pollen filter housing off to get back here as well. I mean, just look how much stuff is on the floor. Like, how much stuff you have to do just for an air filter? It's balmy. And then the next problem is obviously once you get this air filter in, it's trying to put it all back together, because these just don't want to stay in there. They don't want to seat properly on here. Oh, it's just manic. But that's why they charge you so much money, because this is a decent amount of labour. Anyway, that's my little gripe over. That's why your air filter is expensive to replace, but we carry on.
I've seen a lot of people who don't know what work is. I've seen a lot of people who don't know what thirst is. I've had a taste of evil and tried to cure the sickness, but I just keep my head down and focus on the facts. I'm setting down.
So this is a crankcase ventilator, and more often than not, if you get a little bit of smoke coming out of the exhaust from time to time on full throttle, it can often be this clogged up in there. So you can take this apart, put a new one in, and that should, because you've got just a tad of smoke coming out of the old pipes, so that should sort us out. So we've actually got quite a few seals here. So we've also got, this one's the old one and this one's the new one to go there. You got this one, which I believe goes around this one, which is still stuck inside there, and then the last one, which is this one, is to go on there. So quite simple. Don't particularly know what was wrong with this one. If there was any, maybe it was fine, but I could do some investigating, but I'll just leave it.
Struggling, bitch, I'm humbling. Keep mumbling, I'll keep doubling. You keep bluffing, you've got nothing. I'll keep hustling.
So we've hoovered up in there. I've done the PCV as you saw on the time lapse. I put that all back together now. That's back on there. All good. Might torque it down a little bit more just to make sure it's good. And Cameron has arrived back from work, and he remembers this setup because it's the same on a 520D, isn't it? And it is terrible.
It's horrible because you have to take this whole thing off, and on the E60 there's this like strut brace,
strut brace as well. I mean, look at it.
Yeah.
And the firewheels, we got the firewall out as well, and so that goes that way.
Yeah, but that's the nipple thing's downwards, I believe.
Well,
because there's a little thing that sits on there, but then you got to go back first. But oh man, that's calm compared to what.
Yeah.
Well, because you're taking it all off.
Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah.
Some of you might say, "Oh, well, I managed to do it without taking it all off." Taking it all off
100%
takes an extra 20 minutes,
but
but
it's
it's
back here, and it's these. There's a bolt down there, isn't there?
yeah,
And then there's one there. Yeah, it's horrible.
It's absolutely
Horrible.
So these ones here, look, this one. So this one here, nightmare. Can't get that one in basically, and this one here is just in the wrong place. So that's got to go back on. Then once that can go back on, then that can go back on, and then once that back on, then the firewall can go back on.
Did you not get a new cabin filter?
Mate, rookie error.
Cheaped out. Unbelievable.
No, but I can get a new one. It's butters as well, that cabin filter. Oh, I've still got to do the fuel filter. Forgot about
That's
that.
underneath, isn't it?
Well, I did yours,
Well, anyway,
so you can do
let's-
mine.
Yeah, let's get.
I've done everything back there. Finally got that firewall back in. That took me way too long. It's just so fiddly. But all the air stuff's back on now. So I'm going to take the oil filter off, replace the oil filter, put the sump plug back in, put some oil in it, and then we're on to the fuel filter. And that's pretty much everything done because we've done the PCV. That's all torqued up. And I did actually take this bolt down here out to help get that in because it was very difficult to get in. And now obviously the only thing to go above this is the pollen filter, which is all over there. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that is some brightness, and we've got double flashlight going on. Okay, so as you can see, everything's back together. Didn't anticipate the darkness to come, but that is exactly why it takes so much money and effort to do an air filter change on this particular BMW, the E46, which is probably the best maintenance BMW around there. And you can see this cover here is literally just there, so you can check if the air filter's all right because you don't want to do it. All of that, it was so fiddly and it had to all come out. Better luck though Cameron had with the fuel filter. Unfortunately we couldn't show you that because it just got way too dark.
It was pitch black.
So we stuck some oil in it. She should be ready to go. I had a look at the belts, they're all ready to go. So now it's got to do about 1,500 miles there, 1,500 miles back to Spain. So fingers crossed, it's all going to go well. A lot of oil came out of it, so it could possibly have leak injectors or it was overfilled. I'm not sure. But I'm going to put some Redex in there, try and clean it up. That's the last bit of the service for my diesel car. We've done the fuel filter, we've done the oil filter, we've done the air filter. I need to do the pollen filter, and I'm going to put some Redex in to clean the injectors, put a full tank of V-Power in, full send. Anyway, until next time, hopefully something more spicy will be happening with this. Mini soon to be finished, or it might be finished by this point. If you like this pitch black content, please like, please subscribe if you want to see more BMWs apparently. Anyway, see you when we get the next BMW.